Welcome to Patrick Murray Real Estate. I'm Patrick Murray. And for those of you joining me from my other channel, Life in Calgary, Alberta, I extend a hearty welcome. This is the channel where I'll be posting all of my new content moving forward. Have you ever opened your Calgary tax assessment and looked at it and thought, there's no way my house is worth this much money? Or maybe you've been on the opposite end, which I know in past years, I've certainly been on that end. I've looked at it and thought, there's no way my home would sell for that little on the open market. Well, if that's you, you're not alone. This is something that Calgary property owners have been experiencing for years. And we're all wondering, how is property taxes, how are they calculated and to what point and what purpose? So today I'm going to describe in plain English, no fancy jargon. I'm going to break down how property assessments are calculated, how they differ from market value, and why assessments right now may actually be higher than your selling price in some areas of the city. But before we do that, if this is your first time in this channel and you'd like to learn about the city of Calgary, you'd like to learn some tips about selling a home, buying a home, maybe investing in a property, maybe you want to learn some insider information that I'm going to share with you, such as the video today, or perhaps you want to see some home tours. Well, guys, you're in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I've lived in several major centers of my adult life, settling in Calgary way back in 2001, and I've been a residential realtor here since 2010. And all this means that, well, I do have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering selling your home or buying a home, or you're considering investing in a property, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. Or conversely, you can look into the description. There's a link to my calendar. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, let's do this. Let's jump into this information and discuss market value versus tax assessments. Now, first things first, your property assessment is not a reflection of what your home would sell for in any given market. Your property assessment has one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to discover how much tax you're going to be paying in any given year for your property. That's it. That's all. It's not an appraisal of your home. It's not a realtor's market evaluation of your property. And it's not a prediction of the resale price. No, it's simply the city's estimate of the property value of your property in a specific point in time using a mass appraisal method. Okay. It's a tax calculation tool, not a prediction of the sale price of your home. So the city doesn't come into your property to look around, look at all your finishings, get the measuring tape out to do square footage and, to decide how much your property value is actually worth. No, instead they use a system that looks at groups of comparable properties and they analyze trends. So for example, they typically consider things like recent sales in your area, right? They're going to look at your home's size. They're going to look at the age of the property. They're going to look at the location. They're going to look at the lot size. And then they're going to look at the property type. Is it a detached home, semi-detached home? Is it a townhome? Or is it a condominium? And they plug all that data into these statistical models to estimate the value. Now, it's important to note that they value your property as of a specific valuation date from the previous year. So what does that mean? So it means your 2026 Calgary tax assessment is actually a reflection of market conditions from mid-2025. That's right, the previous year in a completely different market than we're in right now. The timing difference alone can cause a noticeable gap between assessed value and the real-time value of your home. So why does assessment value not equal market value? Well, this is where many homeowners get confused. So market value is what a prudent buyer is willing to pay in any given market right now, given the market conditions with current inventory levels, interest rates, and competition. Now, assessments, they're simply calculated in bulk. They use past data and they don't account for emotional factors that influence buyers. So for example, two identical houses could be side by side and one house might be beautifully renovated. On the exterior, they might look the same, but inside, one is beautifully renovated while the other one hasn't been touched since, 1985. But their resale values could be wildly different for that reason. Resale values, not tax value. Assessments simply don't capture those nuances. So you may be asking yourself, well, why am I looking at homes and why are the assessed values higher than the resale prices? Or why is my home in that situation? Or why are they at par? Like maybe they are where they're supposed to be. Well, that's not necessarily true because it depends on the neighborhood, the property type, and what's going on in the market when the assessment was actually valued. So for example, the market has softened since mid-2025. Prices are a little bit lower, but over the past several years, we've had like 4 years where prices were increasing dramatically, so prices went up. But now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. It's not falling, the market's not falling, the sky is not falling, nothing like that, but we are seeing a pullback in pricing, particularly in the detached and semi-detached sectors of the market. The condo and townhome sectors, guys, that's a little bit of a different story. Interest rates may have risen after the assessment was calculated. That sometimes tends to affect value of homes. The interest rates haven't done that lately. They've actually been fairly stable over the last while. And sometimes supply increases in certain segments, and that can affect what's going on with the values right now. And that is part of the case too. We do have a lot more going on in terms of properties for sale. So this is especially noticeable in areas where prices peaked the previous year, demand cooled, or certain property types saw a slowdown, as I just discussed. And condos and some suburban segments are good examples where this can happen. Doesn't mean the city's made any sort of mistake in your evaluation. It just means that the market shifted and their evaluation snapshot was taken at a time when the market was different. Now on the flip side, and we've seen this in the last several years, not this year, but in the last several years, there have been assessments that are lower than the market value. In fact, I've been in properties where the assessment value of a home is $100,000 difference from the resale value of that home. And that happens when a property or a community is rapidly appreciating value, new developments are increasing demand, or a buyer competition pushes prices up quickly, all of which we've seen in previous years, but not now. And in these cases, your assessment might feel low compared to what you think your home is worth. But again, assessments lag the market. Real estate markets move in real time. So even though your assessment doesn't necessarily reflect the sale price of your home, they do still matter. And here's why. With property taxes, your assessment directly affects your municipal share of taxes. Appeal opportunity. If your assessment seems significantly off compared to similar homes, well, you can appeal it with the city. And it's a market insight tool. While not perfect, assessments can give you a general sense of how the area's values have trended over a year. Just remember, it's a broad estimate. It is not a precise valuation. So if you really want to know what your home is actually worth in the current market, if you were to resell it right now, well, that's based on a lot of other factors, such as active listings, recent sales, current buyer demand, competition in your price range, and the property condition. And that's why I like to go and visit every single home I evaluate in person so I can see it, so I know how it will compare against other properties in the neighborhood. And this is where a real estate professional can provide real value, analyzing market data, not last year's numbers. Because ultimately, your home is worth exactly what a buyer is willing to pay for it today. Not what the assessment says, it's not what your neighbor sold for last year, and it's certainly not what the Zillow algorithm says it's worth either. So let's recap what we've talked about. To be clear, property assessments are used to calculate property taxes only, not the resale value of your home. They are based on past data, not current market conditions. Some homes are assessed higher than current resale prices, while others are assessed lower. And the only true way to know the actual resale value of your home is to have a professionally done market evaluation of your home by a qualified real estate professional that knows your area, that knows how to calculate data, that can present that to you. As I said earlier, if you are considering selling a home or buying a home, or perhaps you're considering investing in real estate in Calgary, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call, or click the calendar link in the description. I will absolutely get back to you.